If you and your partner are looking for a way to stop the fighting without seeing a therapist, then we've got the answer for you. Relationship expert Sharon is here to talk about her new book. It's tips on how to break the argument cycle between couples. Good morning to you, Sharon.
Good morning to you.
Well, I think it's probably safe to say that no couple is safe from an argument every now and then, right? There is no such thing as a perfect couple.
No, and you don't even want no arguments, because arguments are, you know, they get you going, and if you do it in the right way, you can have a better relationship. So no, there are always going to be disagreements.
So 30 years you've been a relationship therapist. What is the most common thing that you've found that couples are fighting over?
Well, they fight over, on the surface, chores and sex and money and communication issues, but underneath is really what we're looking at to solve their problems. So they really need to look at their core issue, which is their unresolved childhood trauma that they haven't worked out, and all those surface things trigger that.
So I'm imagining if you have this unresolved childhood trauma, and you probably don't know what it is. If you haven't identified it, you don't even know that you're carrying it around, right?
Exactly.
So how do you begin to figure it out so you can make your relationship better?
Well, I created the first argument technique in my book, Breaking the Argument Cycle, and it's a process of peeling away the surface issue to reveal what the core issue is. And what you have to do to figure out your core issue is just whatever your partner's doing, what is that reminding you of? You know, your mother talked to you that way, your father talked to you that way, and then after you peel that away and reveal the core issue, then the healing can take place. So I have the technique peel, reveal, and heal, because healing can't take place unless you know what your core issue is. And yeah, most of us have no idea that it gets triggered in arguments.
So in order for this to work, both parties have to be willing to go through the whole process and figure it out, right?
Well, it's better that way, but honestly, if one person is interested in therapy or learning about themselves or figuring out their core issue, they can begin to make changes in the relationship. You wouldn't think that, but just by them doing something differently, reacting differently in that moment of heated argument, that's going to shift the relationship. So you don't have to have both. If you do have both people, it goes quicker.
So is there a technique to healthy arguing? Because it's going to happen, but I'm sure that there are ways that you can make it more constructive.
Well, if you know what your core issue is, you know, in your first argument, remember the first argument is that first argument that you have with your partner, anybody that you're in relationship with, and that's going to tell you it's the fall from grace. It's going to repeat itself over and over again in the relationship, and it's going to show you your core issue. So once you know what that is, what you're really fighting about, then you can say, hey, I just got triggered. My issue's abandonment. You just were late for dinner and I feel abandoned. So rather than saying, why are you always late for dinner? I hate you for doing that. I can say, I feel abandoned. And then you're going to have some compassion for me and some sense that, oh, it's not you that's doing it wrong. I just have an issue. And then that's the way people can start loving each other, having more intimacy, because they're really talking about what's real, not that you're late for dinner. That's only going to make you just attack and defend each other.
Then you'll have a terrible dinner together.
Exactly. And then you go, the whole night's been ruined. Where you can salvage that, it's about talking about yourself. Look in the mirror. What are your issues? Talk about that. Don't blame and shame your partner.
All right. Well, to find out more, it's called Breaking the Argument Cycle, and we can get your book anywhere? Is it
on my website,
okay.
www.sharonrifkin.com, and it's on Amazon as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
Sharon.
having me.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right.